Cool thing is that we are live on YouTube by default, but the whole for whatever reason the Instagram preview you have to like wait a little bit because it takes some time to update.
Can't be simple. It needs to be complicated.
It needs to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is like the stream key changes like each time, so
Oh,
yeah, it's just something you have to manually update on my end. All right, it's connecting on my end. Let me get off Wi-Fi using my Ethernet cable. Okay, cool. We are awesome. So we are now live on Instagram and YouTube. Love it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're watching the replay, today we're going to be talking about retargeting your campaign the right way. So, Radu, why is retargeting super important when it comes to advertising?
yeah. Well, I would say that the main one is basically re-engaging with visitors, with people that are already interested in your business. When you're going to work and you see this ad for Nike, you see that shoe over there, and then you might think, "Hey, I have to buy someone a specific gift." Nike might be the first one that comes to mind. So, yeah, it's
Yes.
the simple idea of having the same information inside their mind. So it
Yeah.
always helps. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the best way to use retargeting or to think of retargeting at a high level is you want to stay top of mind over a longer period of time. Because
Yep.
when you kick off your initial campaign, like people are excited, right? They see a cool ad, it gets them interested, they submit their information, but they might not go through with actually scheduling and booking a detailed job, a coding, a PPF tip, whatever the case is. But that's usually the way it works. And the worst thing that you could do is, advertise one time, contact the lead, call them. They say, let me think about it, and then just kind of forget about that lead,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And a lot of the times, you may not have the manpower to follow up with leads religiously, right? You're not able to do it multiple times a day over a couple days, right? So you could also really lean on retargeting to do a lot of that follow up for you, or to keep them top of mind, to keep you top of mind for them over a longer period of time. So if you get a lead that comes through and they're like, hey, the price sounds good, but I'm just not sure if I'm ready for this right now, right? It is a big investment. Let me think about it. Great, no worries. And then you can, like, after watching this video, you'll be confident that your retargeting campaign is going to be doing a lot of that heavy lifting for you, right? Keeping you top of mind over the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. And then when they are ready to become a customer, they've seen your ad, they're just going to resubmit it, and then you can kind of touch base with them versus not
Yep.
having that retargeting set up and them forgetting about you, you forgetting about them, and you're kind of just not getting the best use out of your advertising dollars.
Yeah.
So
Plus,
go
yeah,
ahead.
just the main idea of having two audiences you can target. One never knew about you, don't know who you are, and then there's a couple of people out there that they're familiar with you. Why not tell them about? There's always a
Yeah,
higher conversion rate. Yeah.
yeah. And this kind of goes into what we'll talk about towards the end of the call about using educational content to retarget them. But let's start with square one. So, how do you even set up a retargeting campaign? I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I'm going to use this test ad account that we have here. All right. And I'll zoom in as much as I can, but I'm going to go into this campaign that we were using last week for the lookalike audience. And I'm going to just remove these custom audiences. All right. So, we've gone through the campaign setup. You've added in the locations you want to target. Let's go ahead and click create new custom audience. So instead of targeting this ad to everybody out there in the open, anybody who will get hit with the ad, for this retargeting campaign, we want to specify and we want to tell Facebook only target this specific group of people. So this is
Yep.
where the retargeting comes into play. So just like lookalike audiences, you can create that custom audiences from your customer list, your website visitors, um, people who have watched your videos, people who have visited your Instagram account, your Facebook page, whatever the case is. I think to keep things super simple, let's just use a Facebook page as our example. So we want to target people who are visiting our Facebook page. Maybe they're interacting. There's some sort of engagement. I would consider this not super. What's the word? Like this isn't the highest quality audience, right? Because just like lookalike audiences, you want to be mindful of the data that you're having Facebook create an audience from. So, for example, if you want to retarget your existing customer list, you're going to know that that list is going to be more high quality because they've spent money with you, they've already done business with you, they know, like, and trust you. So that's going to be a higher quality audience than people who have just seen your Facebook page. Maybe they've liked a post or two. So just keep that in mind. To keep things simple for this example, we're going to use the Facebook page. So I'm going to click next. And then instead of this, I'm going to just find our detailers growth page. And then now that we've specified the page to base this audience off of, we want to tell Facebook what kind of events or what kind of actions has somebody taken in order to in order for us to lump them into a custom audience. So there's a couple
Yeah.
ways you could do this. You could do this with people who have simply visited your page, right? So this is think about this as somebody who just goes on your website and they click off. But we can also be more specific with people who have engaged with the page, meaning they've liked a post, they've commented, they've shared something. So with somebody who's engaged with your page, that person is going to have more interactions. They're going to be more and more familiar with your business. So let's use them. Let's use everybody who has engaged with your Facebook page. And the cool thing is, Radu, if you can talk about this in more detail, audience retention. So we can go as far back as people who have interacted with our Facebook page in the last year, or we can shorten this down so we can get even more specific with not just 365, but maybe 90 days, 30 days. So Radu, can you talk to me about your thinking behind choosing which audience retention amount to go with?
Yeah, so it also comes down to how many people you run ads to. Because, for example, if you've
Yes.
been running ads for an entire year, that's one thing. If you run ads for 3 months, that's a different thing. But yeah, the main idea is people that have seen your ad a year ago, maybe you already ran ads to them, they're not booking that much. You can make a specific video tailored just to those people that are maybe far off, maybe a year or something. Plus, you can also make videos for people that have seen your ad last month or last 3 months, for example. So you can definitely pinpoint those differences in retention time. Yeah.
Yeah, just to double click on that a little bit, the reason why audience retention I believe is so important is because you can see like how specific those people are. So in this example, we're using our Facebook page. Anybody who has engaged with our Facebook page, meaning they've liked something, they've commented, they've shared it, or they follow us, like if we look back for like the last 365 days, that's a pretty big audience. But if
Yep.
we look at the last 30 days, that's going to be a smaller audience, but it's more tailored to that specific group of people.
Yep.
So when you're thinking about what audience retention you want to go with, keep that in mind because I think this really comes into play if you run a recent promotion, right? So let's say you've advertised for like the last 3 months, but then in the last 30 days, you changed it up to a different promotion. And let's say you just want to retarget those people who are interested in that promotion that you ran most recently. So just to keep things super nice and relevant, I'm going to change this to the last 30 days. So the last 30 days, again, we're telling Facebook, look at the people who have engaged with my Facebook page in the last 30 days, and I want to retarget those people. Again, you can do this with your list. You could do this with specific videos. You could do this with your Facebook pixel. I mean, sky's really the limit when it comes to who you want to retarget. Um, but also keep in mind that the quality of that retargeting audience will determine, what stage they're at, how ready they are to buy. So you can really squeeze and get a lot of leads. You can follow up with leads that may have expressed interest 2 months ago, but here we're looking at the last 30 days. So it's a little bit more top of mind. It's more relevant. You could even go down to 14 days. You can go down to 7 days. Um, it just depends on how much people you want to reach. So, like if we go the last 7 days, think about the intent there, right? So these are people who have visited my Facebook page the last 7 days. So I know that I'm going to be more top of mind because they've interacted with my page with this audience. And same thing
Yep.
goes with your customer list, right? So if somebody has recently become a customer in the last 7 days and you want to make a new campaign to retarget them, you could do it. And because you specify the last 7 days, now you can go into your campaign and make it more tailored. So you can
Yep.
really tailor the messaging by saying, like, hey, John, thank you for being a customer. Here are other services you might want to know about.
Yep. Plus, if you retarget people that have watched or interacted with your Facebook page, for example, for the past 7 days, 10 days, you might not need to give them an offer because they're already maybe looking for that service. But what if you're going to target
Yes.
someone that maybe they interacted with your page 2 or 3 months ago? Then to convince those people, which maybe they forgot about you as a business, you can give them an offer. And then it goes way, way back. 1 year, maybe bigger offer. Or
Yes.
also, if you're
Yes.
offering maybe a specific service that's maybe 1 year ceramic coating, obviously you can retarget some of those people that interact with your business page. So 1 year passed, you can retarget those people. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So again, keep that in mind. Like, the reason why the audience retention is so important, because if we want to retarget people who have interacted with your page for the last year, the messaging is going to be way different than people who have interacted in the last 7 days. So
Yep.
I mean, I would think about this on a scale from how cold a potential lead could be to how warm they are, just based on the days that we're retargeting. So like, yeah, you can get pretty specific with this. So let's actually keep this at 30 days. 30 days is, I think a good amount to where it's not super generic, but it's also not super specific, just for this example. And then we want to name this Facebook page engagers last 30 days. And then I'm going to create this audience. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see. Perfect. So now that that custom audience has changed, I don't want to turn this into a lookalike audience. I'm already making an ad, so I'm just going to click done. And boom, here we have that audience. And now I know Facebook isn't giving me like an audience definition or estimated daily results. And the biggest reason for that is because Facebook doesn't have, like, it's hard for Facebook to estimate how many people have interacted with your page in the last 30 days while you're building the campaign. But just know that a lot of the times Facebook has this, like, these messages, like it's saying it's going to reach less than 10 people per day, but a lot of the times that may be not super accurate. So
Yep.
just keep that in mind. Um, or it'll show like this campaign may get 0 leads. You can just disregard those messages for the most part, because Facebook likes to see a big audience, because a lot of their advertisers are advertising across the entire world, right? So they're reaching huge audiences. But for detailers, we want to target people within our local area. So we're going to keep it fairly small.
Yep.
Okay, Radu. So can you talk to me about, like, now that we have our retargeting audience set up, like, what are some other things that I want to keep in mind after kicking off this retargeting campaign? So that could be with the messaging, with other retargeting campaigns. What are some other ways that we can really get the best use out of this retargeting audience that we have here?
Yeah, sure. So I would say definitely keep in mind the ad copy, the headline. So when it comes down to making ads, um, you set up the retargeting, everything's nice on that end, but you need something that will make them decide to come into your business. It might be an offer,
Yes.
it might be something else, but something more enticing. The headline always stands out, the first line of the ad copy stands out, and even I'm not even talking about the videos yet or the images, but um, thinking about maybe it's Christmas and you want to retarget them. Maybe. So based on the specific situation, you need to keep in mind to combine the headline, the ad copy to make it relevant to the idea of retargeting. Maybe something like, we know you've interacted with our page. In case you're interested, but you did not yet pull the trigger, here are some reasons for which you might want to do that. A few more advantages, a few more benefits of ceramic, maybe an offer. So we'll definitely keep that in mind before even thinking about the video.
Yes, 1000%. So, what Redu basically just said is you can kick off your initial campaign, keeping it broad, right? You're targeting a big audience. The messaging isn't super specific, right? There's no special offer, there's nothing, this is a broad, we just want to introduce ourselves to people that we're advertising to. So, the first campaign, we want to keep it super broad. But then when we want to retarget people, we can do it in a way where we're giving them something.
Yeah.
So instead of them just seeing the same ad over and over again and then eventually ignoring it, we can actually use retargeting to really leverage and build a relationship with that audience that we're retargeting. So think about like the first campaign. You're going to be targeting, let's just use nice round numbers. You're going to retarget or you're going to target 1 million people in your first campaign, right? So 1 million people are going to see that campaign over, the next year. But then let's say you want to take a percentage of those people who have done a certain action, like become a lead, and you want to retarget them specifically. So now you can retarget all the people who have submitted their information and expressed interest. And now you can give them something like a special offer where you can say, hey, Dan, Radu, John, people who have become leads and interacted with your business to some degree, you can now retarget them with a special offer and say, John, next time you come and here's a special offer that we're offering, go ahead and take $200 off your next package with us.
Yeah.
Right. So now you can, this is where retargeting becomes super effective because you're giving them something to a specific and focused audience versus just giving the special offer to anybody who sees it out there. You can be very specific with the audience that is more likely to take advantage of that special offer. And the way I would think about this audience is you want to identify an audience where they're on the fence, right? They're thinking about it. They have to talk to their wives, whatever the case is. You want a way to retarget them so you're able to stay top of mind. So, Radu, can you talk about like using different kinds of content and not using the same one over and over again in your retargeting campaign?
Yeah, so I remember when I was in school, I saw this ad of someone, a well-known marketer. I think he was one of the first one that made an ad similar to, I know you've seen my ad, you did not buy
Yes,
my stuff
yes,
yet. So I remember where I was, the exact place, location, time. So those things always they stick out. You notice them and they're different. So you need to play all your cards. So this is one card that's really helpful. You might see that same ceramic coating video, and then the same guy, you already recognize him, you're familiar with him, and then he's on screen, and then like, you saw all of our ads for the past 30 days, you liked my page, but you did not yet buy. So if you want it,
yes,
just for you people, I'm retargeting some of you. Just be simple. Just tell them I'm giving off this special offer. It can be anything. So those types of videos, it can, it's just imagination, being just thinking about it,
yeah,
what make you buy, because those people, they're interested, they watched your videos, they clicked on your page, they liked your page, they just, as Saul said, they're on the fence, they just need an extra incentive. So when
exactly.
it
That's
comes to
exactly
content,
what it
yeah.
is.
Yep.
It's an incentive, right? So, like Radu was talking about there in the beginning, yes, you want to change the messaging to be more hyper targeted, right? So, like a good example of this would be I'm going back to the audience section. I'm going to go ahead and create a new custom audience, but this time I want to target people who have become leads. So they saw one of our ads, they submitted their information, they're a lead. Let's target people who have done that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on lead form. I'm going to click next. And instead of, I'm going to use our page detailers growth, and I'm going to search for, let's just use CMC waitlist. So this is a form that we are using for our Closemore Coatings course that we just launched. So we can target people who opened this form, we can target people who have opened it but didn't submit, or we can target people who have opened it and submitted. So let's go ahead and do people who have opened it and submitted. So this means they saw one of our previous ads, they saw the form that was on that ad, they submitted their information, but let's just say they didn't become a customer for whatever reason. With this audience, I'm going to reach those people specifically. So I want to reach them in the last 30 days. And this is going to be lead form entries last 30 days. So now I know that I'm gonna make this campaign, but I'm gonna tailor the wording to people who, right, they went through all the steps, right? They saw the ad, they submitted their information, they submitted the form, but they didn't buy,
Yeah.
right? So I want to target all of these people, and now I'm going to change my wording, my messaging in the ad to be more specific and talk to that audience specifically. So let's just say maybe they thought the price was too expensive, so I can create wording around that. So, hey John, I saw that you submitted an entry for a ceramic coating quote, but maybe the pricing was a little bit out of your budget. Let's give you a $200 off discount, and it expires in 7 days. So
Yeah.
now you're giving them something in exchange for them becoming a customer quicker, right? You're shortening the potential life cycle of that lead. So instead of them contacting you one time, getting a quote, and then just kind of parting ways, they think about it, but they never really schedule. Instead of that happening, you can now go to that person and say, hey, John, for whatever reason, it seems like, you're on the fence. We're running a special offer that's only good for the next 7 days if you can schedule within the next 7 days. So now, if they are actually thinking about it, they have a reason to pull the trigger sooner rather than continue to wait
Yeah.
sometime in the future.
Yeah. Definitely works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this kind of goes into the next topic that we want to talk about, just to wrap things up here, is using your educational video content and combining that with your retargeting campaign. So, Radu, can you walk me through what that might look like?
Yeah, so when it comes to video content plus retargeting, you need to make it as specific as possible. So let's say you'll make a specific educational video about maybe you have a BMW vehicle. You can tell it
Yes.
on the video, hey, if you watch at least 50% of this video, like just watch it for 1 minute, and then I'll have a surprise for you. And then you'll have some people that obviously they'll watch it even though they don't have a BMW, but then you might be able to see you might be able to retarget those people that watched half of the video and just make a video specifically for BMW owners. And this is
Yes.
this is great because if I would want a ceramic coating and I would have a BMW, it's always easier to align yourself with that vehicle, with that service. So then you can make that with various types of vehicles and various types of services. Watch this to the end. If you watch this to the end, I'll give you an offer. So then you can focus on what specific types of videos you can make, the education ones, what to talk about, and then you'll know exactly that most people that you're going to retarget are interested in that vehicle, for example.
Yes. Yes. 1000%. So, you're basically taking your existing video that you might have made for the first campaign, and you kind of throw that out there. You let people watch certain lengths. Some people might just watch it for the first 10 seconds. Other people might watch it all the way through. But now that video that you've been advertising, you can retarget people who have watched certain percentages of that video.
Yeah,
So people who have watched half of it, you'll know that, like, if they get to the halfway mark, that person's more interested than somebody who just watched the first 15 seconds of the video. And now this is where you can, again, change the wording in your ad, change the messaging to target people like, hey, I saw you were interested in our ceramic coating process. Because you watched more than 50% of that video, here's a special offer, here's a special bonus,
yeah,
right? Use promo code X, Y, and Z. So this is where you can really leverage retargeting to not just give special offers, but you can really build relationships with people using retargeting campaigns if they've done
yeah,
certain actions. Yeah. So this is a great way to qualify all of your leads that are coming through. this is a great way to make sure that people are um, to make sure that people are that you're using the retargeting campaigns in a very effective way, right? You're not just creating a retargeting campaign using the same video that you were using in your initial campaign, but in the retargeting campaign, this is where I would create additional videos, videos that maybe expand on what you were talking about in the initial video. So, like we have clients we do who will make one video that they know they just want to advertise to everybody, right? Maybe it's
Yeah,
a ceramic coating process video, and then they'll make that one video that they'll put it out there. They'll retarget as many people as they can, and then in the retargeting campaign, they'll change up the angle or the framing of that video. So the first one was about the process. Second one was about, you know, building value, right? Because if somebody sees that first video, they're going to get themselves familiar with the process, but they're still not seeing like the like the potential benefits that they can get in the future, right? They know the process, but they don't know the benefits. So now you
yep,
can make a retargeting video just focused on the benefits of like, here's how you're going to keep your brand new vehicle looking new, not just today, not just next week, but years from now with this ceramic coating package. So this is where you
yeah,
can really leverage that retargeting content, that messaging to that specific group of people and know that those advertising dollars are getting used effectively.
yep. Yeah, those would be the main ones. Yeah, as long as you know the main idea, you get the concept. It's just down to being creative. For example, you could make a video down the road. Maybe you'll find a vehicle, exact same model, same year, same paint color, everything. Maybe one has had ceramic coating on, one did not have ceramic coating on. You could just make a
Yes,
video showing the difference. Hey, 2022 or like maybe 2015, let's say 2015, same vehicle, same year. Look at the paint condition on this one and then look at the paint condition on this one. Do you want the same to happen
yes,
for your vehicle? So you can then retarget those people, and it's just being inventive. Yeah,
yes. And to add to that, not just retargeting different processes, but you can also use different angles, right? So we know that for the most part, people are going to think about getting a ceramic coating because of one of three reasons. First is protection, right? From light scratches, sun fading, right? They want to preserve the look of their vehicle. Next part is the shine aspect. So the more of the restoration aspect, right? Maybe turn your black dull vehicle into a showroom shiny vehicle, right? So the transformation, restorative aspect. And then lastly, the third one is going to be ease of maintenance. So now you can take those three stages or the three main reasons why people get a coating, right? Protection, shine, or ease of maintenance. And you can retarget based on those specific benefits.
yeah,
So if I see that people are asking me about like the ease of maintenance aspect and like how it can shorten their watch times, now I know what videos I need to make for the retargeting campaign. And that's how you supercharge it. So just keep that in mind. And to wrap things up here, Radu, can you talk about like using your educational content and mixing that in with your retargeting campaign?
yeah. So when it comes to the educational content, people should see your face, people should hear your voice. You should let them know about all the steps involved. Here's what the ceramic coating is, the paint correction. Let them know about all the advantages. For example, UV protection, harmful rays. If you're in Texas or some other states like that, you can
Yeah,
think about that. Okay, I might not need that in Canada maybe or somewhere else, but here I can educate people on, hey, Texas, people that live in Texas, take a look at this idea. UV rays, we can eliminate that. So you can take that idea, and then once you educate them on what ceramic coating is, you can retarget them with more education. Educate them more on the specific, uh, the more niche ones, Texas homeowners. So all of that, and then you can make the
yeah,
retargeting 7 days, 30 days, a year from the past. So, yep,
yeah. And this is a great way to take somebody who might not be super familiar with a ceramic coating, but let's just assume they can afford it, but they just don't see the value in it. And I think that's the case with most people is like they have the money to spend on a coating, but they just don't see the value in how it's going to preserve the appearance of the vehicle, how it can transform
yeah.
the way it looks, right, from gold to shiny, and how it's going to make washing the vehicle easier. So Like us in the detailing industry, we're extremely familiar with that, right? This is like what we're selling, this is what we're advertising. We're super familiar with the benefits of it. But think about somebody who isn't a car enthusiast, right? They're not in the industry, but they can really benefit from a ceramic coating and they can afford it. But that key part of them seeing the value is missing. So, using a retargeting campaign, using educational videos, you can move somebody along that education process. So, think about it as if somebody were reading an SEO article on your website. What information would they need to know to not just be well informed, but contact you and ultimately become a customer? So, that's the kind of content you want to make with a retargeting campaign, because now you're taking somebody who, when you initially targeted them, they're not super familiar with what a ceramic coating is, the benefits and the value.
Yep.
But that was just the first ad they saw. The second ad, if done right, you can educate them even more. You can take that person who's a stranger, might not be familiar with coatings, and really give them all the information they need to know in a video format. And it doesn't, like, you don't have to be in front of the camera, but it definitely makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But if you want to make that educational content in the easiest way possible, just pull out your phone, record your vehicle that you're working on while talking about the process and the benefits. Because now, John, who's seen that first video, is going to see the second video. And instead of just seeing a 30-second cool ad, he's now seeing a 3 to 5 minute long video that goes through the entire process in a ton of detail. So by the time he's done watching that second video, he's more informed, he sees the value, and he's more willing to become a customer just by you educating him with retargeting campaigns.
Yep, they're super powerful. There's always this sentence that you'll hear after do the retargeting. So I called you because I've been seeing you guys for the past year.
Yes,
So when you
yes,
hear that,
yes,
you're like, retargeting. Yes, it works.
yes. And we hear that all the time from our clients who do those retargeting campaigns or who do
Yeah,
those kind of different contents. Like, for example, Ray, Tim with Divergent Detailing, like they become local celebrities because of the retargeting
pretty much.
campaigns. So now think about the mind share that they're taking up within their market, right? Like they're more top of mind when somebody is ready to get a coating. Like they know who to go to by default just because they've seen you multiple times. So that's also the compounding effect of retargeting campaigns is you're building that trust without having to interact with that person. So you're basically giving them educational information, you're informing them, but at the same time that they're watching those videos, they feel like they're connecting with you. They feel like they know who Radu is. They feel like they know who Tim, John, Ray. They feel like they know these people just by watching their videos. So that's also another positive aspect of retargeting campaigns is you're taking a stranger, not only are you educating them, but you're also building that relationship with them. So by the time they're ready to become a customer, it's like not only are you the go-to person, but they feel like they have that connection with you. And that's where you really see all of this come together, right? And the
Yeah,
cool thing about it is this can happen in a matter of a couple weeks. It can happen over several months or years. It just depends on how quickly you can move somebody along that process by educating them, by retargeting them effectively. So definitely take advantage of the retargeting option, build that relationship with people, educate them, and you'll see the results. Again, it might not be in a couple weeks, could be a couple months, but you'll be educating that person in a meaningful way where your competitors, they're not even doing that to begin with,
yeah,
right? They're not giving that information in a very easy way because you'd be surprised at how many people go to your website but don't submit their information. They are interested, but they just don't know what the process looks like. They don't see the value. So this is where you can really leverage retargeting campaigns to really build that relationship with people and ultimately get more customers. So we'll leave you guys with that, and we'll see you guys next week for our next week Wednesday live stream. So Salvador with Detailers Growth, sitting down with Dan, our ad specialist. Today we talked about retargeting campaigns. Next week, let us know what you want us to talk about. what do you want to know about specifically? Just comment it on our latest Instagram post, go on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, wherever you're listening to this. Just comment somewhere. Let us know what kind of information you're looking when it comes to Facebook ads. We can even talk about sales process, whatever the case is. But we'll see you guys next week. Adios.